Hey guys, super excited to have you as part of the Vision and Vino workshop. It's a really fun event, and at the end, you're going to walk out with a vision board that looks just like this. But yours won't be pretty pink because Michelle actually painted her canvas because we had extra time, so she's made hers all nice and pink. But yours is going to look just like that. Of course, it's going to have your pictures on it. Just for the record, my one is pretty massive. And I've been teaching vision board stuff for the last probably 10 years in the workshop that I do called Life Design. So plenty of experience, plenty of wisdom on how it does and doesn't work. So I'm going to give you some insights on how to prepare for tomorrow so that you can get straight in and get some awesome stuff done from the very beginning. So for those people who have like jobs and stuff that mean that they can't necessarily get there for the 5 o'clock start time, I'm going to give you some homework so that you can actually start to prepare, so that when you do turn up, if you do turn up at, let's say, 6 o'clock for example, you can get straight into it and be caught up to everybody else so that you can still walk out with a fully produced vision board and get those results that you really want. So this is kind of how the structure works. At 5 o'clock, everybody rocks up and we have welcome drinks and we chit chat and we sort of, welcome you to the venue. Then Michelle and I tell our personal stories about our vision boards, about how my one I first made a few years ago and how it's changed my life and various other things. Michelle tells the story about how she's recently made this beautiful pink one and what difference it's made in her life. And then from that point, at about 5:30, we start to write what's called a bucket list. Now, if you haven't done a bucket list before, there's a few golden rules on how to do it. Most importantly, what you want to do, so this board is 5 by 5, right? So you're going to be printing and mounting 25 images. So for that to be as good as it can be, what you want to do is actually create a list of about 50 things that you want in your life. A minimum 50. I would suggest trying to get 100. If you're a go-getter, that's a great way to do it. Now, some people like to use a mind map. This is one of the documents from my life design workshop. So this is a be do have mind map. If you're familiar with using mind maps, that's a really great way to explore your bucket list. You can also go online and Google. This is a list of 1,000 things that you might want in your bucket list. There are plenty of ideas if you Google it. So what I do suggest you do is to really make sure you push past the 25, because the good ones do come up at the end of your search, right? It's important that you also make sure that you some things that you want to do, some things that you want to have, some things that you want to be. And it's also important to look at not just assets like a Ferrari and a mansion, but also maybe learning piano, learning Spanish, learning to touch type, maybe some daily habits like daily meditation or yoga, or drinking 2 liters of water or something like that. Those are really good goals to put in there. And of course, some very big goals that challenge you to think big about your future, because that can steer you in a long-term nice direction. So it's a really good way to do it. So break it down into different sections and write a list. I suggest maybe typing it out on a Google Doc or a Word doc, or even a notepad on your phone is fine. But before you rock up, if you are going to be a little bit late, it is a very good thing to have prepared so that you can get straight into the next stage, which is to do the Google search. So what we do is we get you to open up on a Google Images, and make sure you're looking for high resolution photos. So if you do want to actually prepare some photos before you arrive tomorrow, 2 things to keep in mind. Number 1, they're in landscape mode, so horizontal. Try not to get the portrait ones. You can use those, but you do need to crop them a little bit, so sometimes that can be a little bit uncomfortable to have to cut out some of the good photo. Make sure you choose high resolution. That's number 2. High resolution, you can filter images in Google search to make sure that you've got high resolution. So if you want to prepare, and if you are going to be turning up a little bit late, then that's a great way to be prepared and ready, because at 6 o'clock, that's when we start the Google search. So it takes about half an hour to write the list for a lot of people. I do have a shite ton of ideas that I'm going to share with you to help you get some really good stuff on your list, as I've been teaching this for a long time. And then at 6 o'clock, like I said, we're going to start doing the Google search. After we've done the Google search, then we start printing the images on a very nice printer that I have over here on card. So we have a nice card here, and it's a nice high resolution printer. And after that, we use a guillotine over here on my desk here, a guillotine and a cutting knife and scissors and stuff like that, and we cut the pictures out, and then we mount them on the board with blue tack. And the last thing we do at 8:30, before we finish off, everybody gets to share the story that they've put up on their vision board, and we all get to connect. And during that whole time, we're having cheese and crackers and glasses of wine and having a good old chat and a good time. So, and there's music playing, and it's really fun. So that's some preparation you can do. I highly recommend you start to think tonight as you're falling asleep. What is it that you want in your future? What's your ideal future? What's the best thing that you could hope to happen? and to be diverse, to think short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and all those sorts of things. And one thing to know about writing goals: try not to use things like I want to be fit, or I want to be rich, or I want to be in love, because the more fit I am, the more I understand how fit can be, so the fitter I can be. So it's kind of like a fleeting goal, like one of those dreams where you're trying to run and the finish line is running away from you as you're running. And rich is the same. If you want to say you're rich, you need to define what that means. So that might be $5,000 passive income per week. Like, that could be rich, right? So it's important to think about goals that way as well. Anyway, this video is 5 minutes and that's way too long, but that's some great information for you to prepare for Vision and Vino. I'm really excited to spend the night with you. It is a really fun event and you get to meet some cool people and have a great time and have a glass of wine at the same time. You are amazing and you're going to be even more amazing. See you soon.